You know someone like this. Maybe it's a friend, maybe a co-worker, maybe someone from your family. And at some point you found out they went on vacation, completely alone. No friends, no partner, no family. Just them, a suitcase, and a destination. And something about that unsettled you. Not that it was wrong exactly, just strange. Because vacation is something you're supposed to share with someone. You plan it together. You complain about the flight together. You take photos of each other in front of landmarks. That's what vacation is for. So why would anyone go alone? You probably came up with an explanation. Maybe they had no one to go with. Maybe something fell through at the last minute. Maybe they're going through something hard and just wanted to escape. The psychology of people who travel solo is nothing like what you imagine. And once you understand it, that person you know will look completely different to you. To understand why some people deliberately choose solitude, you have to go back to what your brain does every single second of your life. So automatically that you've never once noticed it. It tracks other people. Right now, even if you're alone in a room, your brain is running a background process that never fully shuts off. It's monitoring social information, replaying conversations, anticipating reactions, imagining what others think of you, simulating social scenarios that haven't even happened yet. Psychologist Matthew Lieberman at UCLA spent years studying what the brain does when it's not focused on a task. What he found surprised even him. The default activity of the human brain is not rest. It's thinking about other people. Social processing is so deeply embedded in us that it runs automatically, in the background, even when we think we're doing nothing. And here's the thing, when the social processing network is active, the analytical network goes quiet. The part of the brain responsible for deep thinking, pattern recognition, creative insight, self-reflection, it gets pushed aside, not completely, but enough. Being around people, even people you love, is a form of cognitive load. Your brain is always doing two things at once, engaging with the world in front of you and managing the social layer that sits on top of everything. Now imagine that layer disappears entirely. That's what happens on the first full day of a solo trip. No one is waiting for you. No one needs to be considered. No one is watching. And slowly, something begins to open in the brain that is almost never fully open in ordinary life. Neuroscientist Mary Helen Immordino Yang at the University of Southern California calls this the default mode network. It activates most powerfully in solitude. And its function is not relaxation. Its function is the construction of identity. Who you are, what matters to you, what your life is actually for. Every time you're surrounded by people, this network gets suppressed. You shift into a version of yourself, calibrated to the social environment around you. You become a friend, a colleague, a partner, a family member. All of those roles are real, but none of them is the full picture. Alone, in an unfamiliar city where no one knows your name, those roles fall away. And what remains underneath them is often something people haven't encountered in a very long time. But why travel? Why not just stay home alone if solitude is the goal? Because your home has already been catalogued by your brain. Your kitchen, your street, your usual coffee shop. Your brain no longer truly processes them. It runs them on autopilot. They're known quantities. They don't generate new information. And a brain on autopilot doesn't do deep work. A new environment breaks that autopilot completely. Every unfamiliar street demands real attention. Every foreign sound, every menu in a language you don't fully understand, every transaction in a tongue you don't quite command. All of it requires the brain to fully switch on. Psychologist Adam Galinsky at Columbia Business School spent years studying what travel does to cognition. His research showed that immersion in a truly unfamiliar environment measurably increases creative thinking and cognitive flexibility. The disorientation of the unknown loosens the rigid mental frameworks you normally use to interpret reality. And when those frameworks loosen, something new can get in. Solo travel amplifies this effect many times over. Because when you travel with someone, you still have a fixed point, a person you're always in relation to. Their pace, their preferences, their energy level, their needs. That fixed point anchors you. It keeps one foot in the familiar, even in the middle of the unfamiliar. And that anchor, as comfortable as it is, also limits what the unfamiliar can do to you. Remove the anchor entirely, and the experience hits differently. There's a concept in sociology called the looking glass self. Charles Cooley first described it in 1902. The idea is that we understand who we are primarily through the reflections other people give us. Their reactions become our self-image. Their expectations become our behavior. Their labels, spoken and unspoken, become the story we tell ourselves about who we are. This isn't a criticism of human nature, it's simply how identity works. We are social creatures, and we construct ourselves socially. But here's what that means. If you've never spent significant time completely outside the social mirror, you may not know which parts of you are genuinely yours, and which are simply reflections you absorbed along the way. The person who goes on vacation alone, consciously or not, steps outside that mirror, and what they find there is sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes painful, and sometimes, for the first time in years, genuinely clear. Research by psychologist Kenneth Sheldon at the University of Missouri found that the experience of solitude in a new environment is consistently linked to what he calls self-concordance, the sense that your life actually aligns with your true values, rather than values inherited from those around you. In other words, people don't come back from solo trips just rested, they come back recalibrated. And here's what will surprise you most about that person you know. They're not doing it because they're lonely. The research consistently shows the opposite. People who deliberately seek solitude, who can genuinely enjoy being alone in an unfamiliar place, tend to score higher on emotional stability, self-awareness, and life satisfaction than those who can't tolerate solitude at all. Psychologist Esther Buchholz, who spent decades studying the psychology of solitude, argued that aloneness is not the absence of connection. It's an entirely different kind of experience, with its own specific value that social life simply cannot replicate. She found that the ability to be comfortably alone is not a sign of social failure. It's a sign of psychological maturity. So when your friend, your coworker, or that person in your family buys a ticket for a solo trip, they're not running from their life. They're not unable to find company. You see them differently now, don't you? That person at the departure gate, sitting alone, looking out the window at the runway. At the start of this video, you felt a little sorry for them. You thought, maybe something went wrong, maybe no one could make it. But now you know the truth. They're waiting for a version of themselves that only shows up when everyone else is gone, and they already know exactly where to find it.